Man, it is so nice to be able to wake up and see these two beauties right here.
That is loud.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to be answering the question that I've seen come up in the comments, and that is, how did I get this car? What was the process in terms of buying out of state, and ultimately what I ended up paying for the car, and some of the things that you can do to make it a lot easier for you to buy a car out of state and not have anything go wrong, and make sure that all that transaction goes smoothly. Before we jump into the video, guys, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to each and every one of you guys that are subscribing. It's obvious that you guys really love the ZL1 content and hopefully the future content to come. Thanks for supporting the channel. The videos are really doing really well. So if you haven't, hit the like button and consider subscribing so that you can stay up to date with all my videos. The goal to reach 10,000 subscribers is coming in strong. We should be able to crush that 10,000 subscriber goal by the end of the year, and hopefully continue to grow to show you guys more and more content. So for those of you guys just joining me, this is the new 2019 ZL1 Camaro that I just picked up about a week ago. If you haven't seen any of my previous videos, I also had this, or have this SS 2019 as well, that has a bunch of stuff done to it: heads, cam, nitrous, and it is actually sold and going to be leaving the house pretty soon. But of course, we had a really great replacement, and I actually finally got a chance to wash this thing. Guys, these wheels were horrible. You can actually still see the brake calipers. These wheels are super nice. I really like the look of them, but they are a pain to clean, guys. Washing these wheels and cleaning these wheels is a pain. All those spokes makes it difficult to get in behind the barrel, but we are going to make sure we prevent any of that heavy brake dust very soon, because I've gotten a lot of parts already for this thing. But we will get to all of that in a future video. For now, let's go ahead and talk about the ZL1 and what the buying process was to get this car out of state. So when buying a car, especially if it's out of state, it can be pretty scary, pretty tricky, because you don't know what's going on. Now, it's going to be different for different people in different situations. I didn't have a trade-in, so that kind of eliminated that aspect of it. We basically were just buying this car as is without a trade-in, which does simplify things a little bit. And sorry for the wind noise, guys. The very first thing that I did, guys, was reach out to a local credit union and give them the VIN number of a car in the general price point. It doesn't need to be the one you're specifically looking for, but just a general VIN number of a car for sale in that same ballpark price point that you want to finance for. Basically ask you how much are you wanting to finance, and you can give them the number and they'll use the VIN number to look at market prices, current values, MSRP, to determine how much they can lend you. So I asked for $62,000 because that is probably the most I wanted to pay for a ZL1. I didn't want to pay any more than that if we included taxes, title, and all of that. So once I got pre-approved, the credit union that I worked with actually used draft checks. So they were able to print me out I guess pre-approved almost draft check that had a value up to $62,000 and was valid for, I believe, 3 months. So it gave me time to look for the car that I wanted and just have a check and show up to the dealer and give them a check. That squared away the financing part of it. Then it was time, obviously, to look for the car and the one that I wanted, and I found this one, which was in North Carolina, and called them up and basically just try to negotiate a price with them, car sight on scene. Ideally, you want to be doing this with a car that is fairly new and that you can get as many details and pictures from. dealerships should be able to provide you, you know, high definition pictures, close-ups, disclose any issues that they might see with the car. And this specific one, guys, had a advertised online price of $57,600, and it was the cheapest 2019 with under 10,000 miles by far. There was a couple other cars that had over 10,000 or 8,000 miles, but they wanted 60,000, so almost like 2 to 3 grand more than this specific model, and they didn't have the sunroof. So very similar to this. I mean, a lot of the 2019s with very similar options were going for 58, 59, even up to 62 to 63,000 dollars with higher miles than this one. This one had 5,000 miles on the odometer. So once I saw the advertised price, of course I wanted to try to negotiate with them, but at that price, they knew it, I knew it, they were already way under the price and the market value of all the other 30 some ZL1s that were for sale in the country at the time. So once we basically said, okay, fine, I agree for the $57,600, then it was time to look at taxes. And this is very important, guys. When you're buying a car out of state, you want to let them know, give them your full address and let them know what state you live in, because each states have different tax rates, and you have to pay taxes based on the state that you live in for the car. So if you buy a car in North Carolina like I did, but you live in Texas, you don't pay the North Carolina sales tax, you have to pay the Texas sales tax, because they have to register it through the Texas DMV and all the Texas authorities. Make sure that you talk with the dealer and work out the taxes up front so that you know what you have to pay. Now, you don't need to actually include that in your financing. Most people tend to do it. Some people would pay it up front, and others, if you're buying it out of state, don't even include it in the sale, in the whole PO or purchase price of the car, because they expect you to go and do it yourself. Basically, you register your car with the paperwork, with the PO, and you pay the taxes locally at your DMV in the state that you live in. So I wanted to go ahead and just bundle it all together. So I worked with them and told them, hey, you know, can you do the calculations for the taxes? They were able to get the calculations done and get me the number. I ended up being at about $3,800. We'll go over the number right now, but all that kind of brought up the price from $57,600 up to a final price of $62,232 or so. So with that being all taken care of, guys, that was it. The only other thing I did have to do was put in a non-refundable deposit, and different dealerships will have different policies, but I did have to go through and put a non-refundable deposit that locked us in, so that they could put that the car had been sold and not have to have somebody else come out from under me and buy the car out, and gives me time to coordinate my either flying in or working with the dealership to get the car delivered. Wind should be a lot better in here, but I've got the PO here and we'll kind of run through it. I'll probably put a screenshot up on the screen, but the car sales price, it shows it as cash price, was for $57,699, so $57,700, and sales tax for the state of Texas was $3,656. Now, if you had a trade-in, you could basically reduce some of that stuff, but obviously I wasn't trading in. So the whole cash price, including the sales tax, was $61,355. So taxes and car included $61,355. Now, I did give a $1,000 deposit that was non-refundable, so that brought down the total price of unpaid from $61,355 to $60,355. And of course, you do have dealer fees, and the administrative fee was $799.50. And there was a couple other official fees paid to government agencies for $50. Not really sure what that's about, but it was another $55 there. And they also charged me $56 for out-of-state title fees. I guess that's what the dealership charges for doing the processing for any out-of-state titles, which is not too bad at all. The total price that I had to finance, not including my $1,000 deposit, was $61,265 with 41 cents. So that is basically the amount that I financed. That is what I wrote out that check that was given to me by the credit union for. Now, how much is that gonna cost me per month? Well, we've got here the First Service Credit Union finance sheet that you typically get when you're at a dealership, and I'll put a screenshot up with the numbers there, but we can run through that one. Now, I got an interest rate of 3.6% for this car, which is really good. It is a really good deal. And I actually ended up financing this car to 84 months. Now you're gonna say, dang, why'd you finance it for so long? Well, the reality of it is I am gonna be paying it down a lot sooner, paying extra per month. And I don't plan on keeping this car for the whole 84 months. This car is pretty much a stopgap, temporary, between now and when we get our C8 Z06. And the amount that I ended up financing was $61,869, which included gap insurance through my credit union. Because obviously if something happens with this car, if I'm involved in an accident, I wanna make sure that everything gets completely covered. My payments, guys, are gonna be $840.33 a month. That is how much I have to end up paying for 84 months on a $62,000 loan, basically. We got this car for $62,000 with taxes, title, and everything. I'm financing it for 84 months, and I am paying $840 a month for this car, which is only $200 more a month than what I was paying for the SS. So honestly, after driving this thing for 1,000 miles, the interior, all the extra features compared to the 1SS, the $200 a month, if you can swing it, I mean, it definitely is worth it every bit of the way. Now, let's go and look at insurance. Now, this is a big shocker here. So I did go ahead and have Progressive replace my SS with the ZL1, and when I did that, I was expecting my insurance rate to go up slightly because this is a much higher value car, and obviously it's supercharged and all that good stuff. But the net difference between the two cars in our policy was actually cheaper. So I actually saved money by getting the ZL1 insurance wise compared to the SS. About $10 to $11 a month cheaper to have the ZL1 than it was to have the 1SS. Now, the Camaro, when I did the math, I believe came out to be about $135 to $140 a month for the Camaro. And if we take $10 to $12 off, we're looking at around $125 to $130 is what I pay per month for this ZL1 in terms of insurance. One reason I think that is because this does have a lot of the extra safety features like the blind spot monitoring, rear view mirror camera, parking sensors, and all that good stuff. So I'm sure with all those extra features, even though it's a much higher valued car, they definitely still think that it is safer to drive this than it is a 1SS without those blind spot features. There you have it. That is the cost of buying the ZL1 and what I pay, what I got it for, the interest rate, all that good stuff. Now, was that a good deal? Was that not a good deal? I personally think that it was a great deal. Anyways, guys, I really hope you guys found this video informative and liked the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and let me know how I did. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe because there is a ton of content coming with the ZL1. We're going to start doing a lot of modifications and really seeing what this thing will do at the track. So subscribe, hit the notification bells so that you can stay up to date with the videos on the ZL1. But with that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.